Good morning, everybody. It is a tradition here at UCT for one of the Deputy Vice-Chancellors to come in before the ceremony and also to speak to you briefly about certain aspects of it, as has been done in relation to the way that you are supposed to behave when you come up to be hooded. My name is Sandra Klopper. I'm one of the 4 Deputy Vice-Chancellors here at UCT. Now, normally when I come and speak to you at this time before the ceremony, it is to indicate something about the history of the traditions that we practice here. This year, we're doing it a little bit differently. We're doing it differently because we are both mourning and celebrating the life of Madiba as part of our ceremonies. It is very important, therefore, to indicate that we did consider doing the ceremonies substantially differently from what we have in the past. However, we decided that we would continue with the Gaudeamus when we enter the hall. We would, nonetheless, when singing the national anthem, do so in tribute to our late state president. And we would also have a lament, Vugani Nobani Lele, that will be sung at the beginning of the ceremony. This is a lament that is sung by women when an elder person passes away in the house. It is a call to the ancestors to come to collect and guide the person, even though the ancestors will already be there. So that will be the beginning of the ceremony. And this lament today will be done for us by Zinzi Nogavu. I'd like, in tribute to Madiba, just to quote a few things from the extraordinary speech that was made by Obama 2 or 3 days ago. He indicated to us in speaking about the life of this remarkable person that Madiba's struggle was your struggle. His triumph was your triumph. Your dignity and your hope found expression in his life. And your freedom, your democracy, is his cherished legacy. He indicated elsewhere that Madiba insisted on sharing with us both his doubts and his fears. He never wanted to be an icon. He wanted for us to understand his miscalculations along with his victories. He said, "I am not a saint unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps trying." It is precisely because he could admit to imperfections, because he could be so full of good humor, even mischief, despite the heavy burdens he carried, that we love him so. Mandela, Obama said, showed us the power of action, of taking risks on behalf of our ideals. May you all who are graduating here today find the courage to follow this wonderful example. Normally, we ask you perhaps to stand at this moment for a minute or so, stretch your legs, and if you'd like to do so, please do, and we will be coming in very shortly to the sound of Gaudeamus.
By the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Vugani, vugani, vugani matuta, vugani bo, nobody lelena. Vugani, vugani, vugani matuta, vugani bo, nilelena. Vugani, vugani, vugani matuta, nilelena. Vugani bo, hey ya hey, hey hey, hey ya hey, helele ma, hey ya hey, hey hey, 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 hey hey, hey ya ho, helele ma, hey hey, hey ya ho, hey hey, hey hey ya ho, hey ho, helele mama, hey hey ya ho, ho ho, hey hey, hey hey, hey hey, hey hey, hey hey, hey ya hey, hey ya hey, hey ya hey, hey ya ho. Siyacela vugani, vugani matuta, nobani lelena, vugani matuta.
We will now sing the national anthem as a tribute to Madiba. Please remain standing. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Keenan Hendrickse, member of the SRC, to read the university dedication.
Good morning. I would like to dedicate this graduation to President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela's memory. At this time of national reflection, following the death of the father of our nation, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, and celebration of his life, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in a spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT, and dedicate this celebration to continuing the work of our former president. To those of you who will graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those of you who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond, a love of truth and of learning, and of this, our university. Thank you.
I'd like to thank singers from the College of Music, the South African College of Music, for leading us in Gaudiamus and the national anthem. I've already mentioned and indicated how beautiful would be the Vugani Nobani Lele that was sung by Zinzi. And finally, to thank also Nomza Mpofu and Francois Buerta for their rendition of the song that we have just heard. This song, I want to tell you a little bit about it. This song is called Doretta's Lovely Dream, and it's from Puccini's opera, La Rondina, which means the swallow. And the words go as follows. One fine day, a student kissed her on her lips. And with that first kiss came realizations ablaze with passion's fire. And the realization was that how could one care for wealth when at last the lovely dream of happiness awakes? O golden dream to hold such love at last. Before we proceed with the very formal part of this ceremony, I would like also to welcome everybody here today. Some of you have come from Cape Town, some of you have come from far to be here with the people who will be receiving their degrees. This is a joyous occasion, in spite of the fact that, as we indicated, we are also paying tribute to the memory of our late state president. And as such, it is, I think, very appropriately marked by rituals that include rituals of dress that are, for some people, quite odd. The garments that we wear are, in fact, medieval garments, and the ones that the graduates are wearing are black because historically it was thought that it would be appropriate since they were likely to spill ink on their gowns while studying. I think it's also very interesting to note that the hoods that we wear on these occasions, originally there were very few colors, but as time passed, more colors were added as the nature of degrees changed and proliferated. And so, of course, today, depending on which degree you get, you wear a very different color from other people who might also be with you in this ceremony. I hope you enjoy the proceedings today. I hope that you will share your joy with us and your expressions of pride and appreciation. And I would like to encourage you to do so in whatever way you find appropriate.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the award of the degree of Doctor of Economic Sciences, honoris causa, Alan William Buchanan Gray. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait, but not be tired by waiting. Rudyard Kipling might well have been describing Alan Gray. Alan Gray describes himself as ruled more by his head than his heart. He says, I move slowly, I'm not charismatic, I'm not an extrovert, I'm very rational and cautious, but I'm attracted to risk-taking. I like to make only a few decisions, but they've got to last for a long time. Paradoxically, he works in an environment that is ruled by emotion, almost irrational, with markets that are subject to the ravages of greed, fear, hope, and regret. 40 years ago, academics believed in the random walk hypothesis, that stock market prices cannot be predicted, and that it is not possible to consistently outperform the market. Alan Gray did not believe that. He believed that one could make a better judgment. He believed that it was possible to outperform the market, and he believed that the way to do it was to go back to the fundamentals. And what are the fundamentals? Quite simply, the actual worth of a company, as reflected in the balance sheet. To establish this requires detailed, careful, methodical research in order to determine the intrinsic worth of a company, not of the stock, but of the company. And this strategy requires both time and patience. It's a strategy that has often gone against prevailing practice and was severely tested in the dot-com bubble when all around him phenomenal fortunes were being made. Over the long term, however, it has proved to be spectacularly successful. When he started his small company, Alan Gray, in 1973, he had no idea that his own name would become globally recognized. In the beginning, he had used his own name as a way of showing his absolute commitment to his clients, being prepared to put his name and reputation at stake. Later, he did try to change the name to Alan Gray Investment Counsel, AGIC, but his team said, that sounds like a detergent. And so, today, we still have Alan Gray, the company, and Alan Gray, the man. Alan Gray's commitment to making a difference has extended to the founding of the very significant philanthropic Alan Gray Orbis Foundation. The foundation sees entrepreneurship as the key to unlocking economic and social transformation in South Africa. So his belief in intrinsic value and long-term thinking clearly extends far beyond the stock market to the youth of South Africa. And so, with apologies to Rudyard Kipling, if you can plan and not make short-term goals your master, if you can focus on the years and not the hour or minute, if you can free yourself from charging bulls and bear disaster, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite you to admit to the degree of Doctor of Economic Sciences, honoris causa, Alan William Buchanan Gray.
I see. So, yes, I just want to thank you, Professor Lewis, for your kind words. Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Max Price, SRC President, Ms. Gondwe Namangaliso, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Dean of Commerce, academic staff, graduating students, parents, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud, yet humbled, to be honored in this way. Humbled by my recognition that the phrase, so little done, so much to do, is becoming increasingly relevant as I advance in years. I must say, after spending so much time studying for one degree or another, what a great pleasure it is to receive a degree without even opening a book. Those of you receiving your degrees today, however, have had a considerably more difficult journey over the past few years. You have set yourself a challenging goal and have now achieved it. My heartiest congratulations to each and every one of you. Well done. You can be very proud of this important accomplishment. In considering what thoughts I could share with you today, my mind drifted back to when I stood in your shoes. Until graduating, I had been nurtured by my parents. Furthermore, as a student at Selborne College and at Rhodes University, I had been supported by the state, which largely funds these institutions. Now, with my new BCom degree in hand, I was eager to become independent, to start working, and to earn my keep. I still remember what an incredible thrill it was for me to receive my first monthly paycheck for the princely sum of 25 Rand from Deloitte as an article clerk. At school, I found languages difficult, but thrived in accounting and mathematics. At university, I was fascinated by economics. Early in my career, whenever I had the chance, I applied my skills in accounting and economics in analyzing company financial statements and investing in shares of companies listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Perhaps most importantly, I found studying the stock market captivating, challenging, and fun. I soon realized that my life would be so much more pleasurable if I could find some way to turn this passion of mine into my career. Fortunately, I also found buying and selling shares financially rewarding. Without that important detail, I wouldn't have had much hope of making a livelihood out of it. So I thought that others might entrust me with managing their hard-earned savings if I could become an expert in investment management and win their trust and confidence. This has taken 70 to 80-hour weeks throughout the past 50 years, right up to date. Yet I've never once thought of it as work. It has been meaningful, satisfying, and a privilege. In my experience, I've found that it is far better to play to my few strengths than trying to mitigate my many weaknesses. I feel very fortunate to have been able to pursue this passion for investing throughout my career. So my first word of advice for you today would be to find something you're really passionate about and consider making it your career. I have been similarly blessed to have Jill, my wife and soulmate, as my partner over these 50 years. In this ever-changing world we live in, a loving and secure relationship at home is invaluable and worth every bit of the effort necessary to achieve it. She and I have had very different personalities, so there's been plenty of opportunity for us to learn from each other. And we've had a wonderfully fulfilling experience together. Dedication to a mutually committed relationship at home is therefore heartily recommended. Regardless of the path you choose after graduation, I would urge you to strive for excellence and to ensure that you add more value to your employer than you cost them. In this way, you can become a net contributor to the welfare of others. In my first job in professional investment management with Fidelity in Boston, I found that the more I put into it, the more I got out of it. On starting Allen Gray Investment Council in 1973, we ensured that our clients were rightly the boss of the firm. We empowered them to judge and determine whether our firm deserved to succeed. Everyone in the firm shared the vision that if we made sure that the service we provided was worth more, and preferably much more, than we charged for it, we would be well on our way to success. The well-being of our clients would be enhanced, good jobs would be created as the firm expanded. My colleagues and I would earn a living, and taxes would accrue to the state, to help fund necessary services. If we served our clients well, they would continue to support us and perhaps inform others of their satisfaction with our services. As hoped, this set off a powerful, virtuous circle as more people sought out our services. And the rest is history. Importantly, our driving motivation and focus, nay, obsession, in starting the firm was to advance the best interests of our clients. We were convinced that if we gave our clients value for money, we would ultimately profit, provided we had a sound business model and efficient operations. Any thought of profiting at our clients' expense was not only repugnant, but also foolish. Meanwhile, we were conscious of our responsibility to be considerate of all our stakeholders and serve the common good. In interviewing a prospective employee recently, I asked what he wanted to accomplish in life. He replied that, as an Indian, he was appalled by the abject poverty in his country, and so he wanted to be a philanthropist. He said he first needed to earn the money in order to be able to give it away. So his plan was to pursue a lucrative career in asset management so that he could later help others. I asked whether he thought Bill Gates had made a bigger difference to society through founding Microsoft or through his philanthropic activities in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He paused in contemplation and replied, "I'd never thought of it that way, but I would say through founding Microsoft." I agreed and responded that our sense of purpose and shared vision at Orbis and Allen Gray is to make a positive impact on clients in our daily work. My family and many of our colleagues share the view that our philanthropic activities, initially centered on the Allen Gray Orbis Foundation, are simply a natural extension of our attempt to make a difference in our lives by fully and hopefully wisely leveraging the talents and resources with which we have been endowed. We find this focus on enhancing the welfare of others an incredibly gratifying journey, without end, where the thrill is in traveling, not in having arrived. Indeed, humanity's insatiable needs preclude ever arriving. So little done, so much to do. Graduating students, you've been privileged to attend a renowned university such as UCT, and with that comes responsibility. Recognize that humility accelerates personal growth and is entirely compatible with having the courage of one's convictions and a steely resolve. As you go forth and launch your careers, I urge you to lead purposeful, challenging, and productive lives as positive agents, change agents in South Africa. Retain your youthful idealism, your indomitable spirit, and start the next exciting chapter in your life with resolve to leave your fellow man better off as a result of your life's journey. Please allow me, with profound respect for the glory. Please allow me, with profound respect for the glorious memory of Nelson Mandela, to express how truly blessed all we South Africans are to continue benefiting from our beloved Madiba's visionary and courageous leadership. Let us all honor him by keeping on the righteous path he so ably lit for us. Thank you.
Alan, we thank you. We thank you for the example that you are setting here today and that you have set in the work that you have done in South Africa. I think just listening to your talk today, it is very clear that the terms in which you have couched your vision is one that we all need to embrace. You speak about positive impact. You speak about welfare for others. You espouse the values of integrity and sincerity, of seeking passion in one's life, of learning through relationships, and of humility. I think these are extraordinary values that we all need to embrace in our life, and that would, as you say in your own speech, constitute a tribute to the life of our late president. Although many people have alluded here today to different aspects of the work that has been done by Alan Gray, I think it's important just also to mention his extraordinary contribution to the development of education in South Africa through the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation that was founded in 2005, that provides scholarships for schools, leavers, and also for university students. The foundation is committed to the development of talented young people who have the potential to become high-impact leaders and entrepreneurs. But in addition to this, Alan Gray has supported World Wildlife Funds, the World Wildlife Fund. He supports the Cape Mental Health and also adult literacy projects. He is an extraordinary example. Thank you, Alan, and thank you for being here with us today.
We now move to the conferring of degrees. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified the candidates who are listed in the program as graduating in absentia. And I shall now admit to the degrees specified the candidates to be presented to me by the Dean of Commerce.
Vice Chancellor, I present to you for a degree of Bachelor of Business Science in Actuarial Science, Tuyeni Nespan Akwenyi. Imran Amin. Hangolani Comfort Baloy. Lark Hee Choi. Matthew James Daniel. Renton Davey. Nicholas Anthony Eakers. Tyron Christopher Fowler. Arlton Wayne Gilbert. Sundiran Govender. With distinction in statistics, Licia Hammer. Joshe Harku. Nikhil Amidus Hutharam. Laura Elizabeth Irving. Sipumalela Busisiwa Jeli. Josh Tanner Kaplan. Devin Kyle Knutze. Arthur Celestine Kayara. Mulalo Leposa. Seiki Masurumula. Rafilwa Murorising Hilda Mashila. Russell Ntandwa Matambo. Sizwe Moagi. Kayleen Moodley. Sheldon Lytle Moodley. With distinction in statistics, Alistair Hamilton George Morris. Ndodana Fidel Moyo. Archibald Mutsambiwa. Sinelisiwe Ziningi Nkuta. Sivanati Nontshiza. Mangaliso Quinele Simpiwe Hasana. Natsai Hilda Niabadza. Kim Oliver. With distinction in statistics and mathematics, Kylan Padiachi. Suleiman Patel. With distinction in statistics, Robert Nicholas Peach. Mogomotse Paga. Anton Matthew Pillay. With distinction in quantitative finance, Zachary Stephen Pitsilis. Charney Rass. With distinction in actuarial science, statistics, and mathematics, and the degree with distinction, Thomas Rooney. Hilda Nomvula Segoa. Shayam Shekid. Adlina Singh. Damian Philip Smith. Callum John Spracklin. Ketan Dinesh Taylor. With distinction in actuarial science and statistics, and the degree with distinction, Richard Jonathan Taylor. Lesego Nsako Stompo Tladanyane. Sujay Vital. Tamsankwa Vuyo Talise. Hong Hong Zhang. For the degree of Bachelor of Business Science in Management Studies, Mohammed Riyad Abbas. Mohammed Rashard Abdul. Jovi Matthew Abraham. Chad Adno. Rebecca Jane Allen. Zulfa Ali. With distinction in information systems, Shiraz Ahmad. Noshina Anif. Mika Lindsay Antrobus. Gilbert Jonathan Anyate. Denham Apperley. Tabiso Appy. James Charles Ashcroft. Taryn Jade Augustine. Bridget Carey Old. Yashvika Bahadur. Tawanda Rich Bamhara. Zakia Abdul Bandarkar. Imran Bapu. Samuel George Barton Bridges. Caitlin Heather Ballou. Nabila Bamat. Alexandra Katerina Bergs. Bhavna Bula. Jason Jacques Blatcher. Regana Boltman. Patlaka Siabata Barola. Paul Justin Bosch. Kyle Mark Bradley. Claire Elizabeth Brachet. Luke Bredefeld. Alexandra Brito. Tony Joe Brody. Nomzamo Bukani. Mikhailo Bialek. Irene Mutsa Chamapiwa. Christine Davinia Chetty. Carmen Chiang. Jingwei Chen. Kishan Chakapan. Christopher Colley. Alexander Clive Corder. Jenna Lee Kraft. Stephanie Ella Craig. Margaret Curtain. With distinction in financial reporting, management accounting, finance and taxation, and the degree with distinction, Richard Hugh DeMont. Lindsay Alice Diana Dankworth. With distinction in financial reporting, Stephanie Demetriou. Chenghuan Deng. Noah DeFiliers. Gerard DeFink. Cara DeFosse. Dario Angelo DeBet. Emma Jane Dix. Mariska Ruth Diebold. Durgashnath Doma. Miao Du. Matthew Shane Dunn. Kim Alexandra Duplessis. Nazreen Ibrahim. Sajida Ibrahim. Yusuf Ibrahim. With distinction in corporate governance and financial reporting, Grant Malcolm Edmond. Timmy Sabu Elanjiko. With distinction in financial reporting, Samina Esak. Kevin Edwin Essery. With distinction in financial reporting, Jihad Asap. With distinction in corporate governance, Chiludo Felicia Fanikizo. Lori Shanna Feldman. Caitlin Candace Ferreira. Ryan Samau Ferreira. David Ferrona. Angela Victoria Ford. Kyle Lachlan Forder. Shannon Laura Franks. Tatum Lee Galway. Jatin Vijay Garach. With distinction in marketing, Carrie Ann Garvey. Marco Gava. Robert Sean Getkata. Carla Lynn Goldberg. Samantha Goldstein. Dinika Govender. Cassandran Govender. Sulini Govender. Varshini Govender. Mahali James Grispos. Jessica Hacking. Andreas Hadjianis. Lorne Eric Hollendorf. Connor Frederick Hamilton. Talia Claire Hamilton. Megan Marie Hanley. Kirti Harcharan. Stephen Bernard Hartzenberg. Ramiz Hassan. Matthew Havinkels. Nicholas Robert Havinkels. Terry Steve Hector. Christopher Gray Hellman. Catherine Jane Hellier. Rocky Hemraj. Yiswan Ho. Jacqueline Michelle Hochreiter. Dustin Kieran Holohan. Nicholas James Hops. Brett Michael Horwitz. Zhu Xin Huang. Kirsten Ashley Human. Georgina Mary Huckster. Laurent Sankir Ergolik. Jahan Ara Ismail. Nikhail Ismail. Hina Jeevan. David William Jenkins. Michael Graham Jordy Romero. Amy Lee Kaplan. With distinction in financial reporting, Tasneem Karodia. With distinction in financial reporting, Nicholas Euripides Katsapas. With distinction in marketing, Chloe Kemp. Jessica Kempen. Joshua Luke Kempster. Wesley Andrew Kennedy. Katarina Kern. Bridget Q. Shahina Khan. Bo-Ra Kim. With distinction in financial reporting, Kieran Liam Charles King. Nicole Kitsopoulos. Justin Stephen Cobo. Anna Maria Kolatzis. Mpumelelo Kondlo. Michael Edmund Kramer. Gareth Stephen Kruger. Tenoda Wanasha Carolyn Kujenga. Joshua Adam Kurland. Grant LaFleur. Renee Lalbadur. With distinction in corporate governance, Mishka Lala. Tamba Shaidi Langa. With distinction in finance, financial reporting, managerial accounting, and taxation, and the degree with distinction, Carrie Michelle Langton. Matthew Sean Larson. Christopher Gary Leach. Chan Lee. With distinction in corporate governance, finance, financial reporting, managerial accounting, and taxation, and the degree with distinction, Matthew Kai Legg. Michelle Lagrange. Tetlano Caballano Lekalake. Jade Levy. Kara Wendy Levy. James Errol Lightbody. Jay Sik Lim. Matthew Graham Lindsay. Pranita Lingam. Daniel Lloyd Roberts. Kirsten Michelle Lombard. Nicholas Peter Lowe. Tabiso Patience Machaka. Angela Njeri Machua. Mirko Meyer. Kayaletu Mluleki Makubu. Rudo Pamela Makuni. Asanda Malimba. Mulalo Patuchedzo Mamburu. Kelly Ann Murray. Lisa Ellen Murray. Bettina Katja Morent. David Anthony Marshall. With distinction in financial reporting, Lester Maseko. Seiso Amos Matlanyana. Daniel Mausenbaum. Renee Nadia Max. Nondumiso Mwanda Mbanjwa. Christopher Tal McBride. Craig Gordon McCoon. Jonathan Matthew McDonough. Thomas Alexander Kroom McLennan. Monique Kirsten Mellis. Ayanda Zamatiana Mfuzi. Nicholas Andrew Mina. Malabogo Chalepo Mohulatse. Ongopotsa Mokotedi. Musa Crystal Molibeli. Dorothy Dinio Molokwane. Diva Karen Moodley. Caitlin Morrison. Nawaz Motani. Shazia Mauser. Muhammad Tahir Mukadem. Blessing Tendukai Muniabu. Ashley Musgrave. Kavashan Naidu. Larissa Naidu. Lavanya Naidu. Sashkran Yuri Naidu. Yakisha Naidu. Uvashan Naidu. Rotondwa Glory Nengovela. Emily Claire Nichols. Fundiswa Nokutula Nkuta. Michael Allen Noakes. Yahya Nurgat. Grace Oka. Georgina Sarah Pagden. Yu Shin Park. Zaid Yakub Paruk. Yaish Patel. Zahira Patel. With distinction, Stuart Payne. Nosipiwo Petros. Jared Aston Phillip. With distinction in financial reporting, Rivani Pillay. Turusha Pillay. Cameron Mark Probert. With distinction in statistics, Juanita Ramsabah. With distinction in corporate governance, Mayuri Ravji. Tawfiq Razak. Leslie Ann Reddy. Nanda Sekumar Reddy. Simoena Maxine Reddy. Simone Reddy. Lauren Haley Putnam Reeves. Matthew William Bevan Wrightford. Grant John Robertson. Holly Justine Robertson. Mark Raymond Robinson. Andrew Julian Peter Rosenberg. Samantha Claire Rosenberg. Lauren Lee Ross. Craig Arthur Rowan. James Anthony David Rowson. Sean Peter Rudling. Atika Sadine. Jafar Ali Saib. Ayesha Radea Salam. Mishka Samodin. Jaden Lee Schiff. Tamsin Jade Skippers. With distinction in finance, Kurt Schulze. With distinction in organizational psychology, Tamlin Ann Schwartz. David Seal Bruce. Nina Alexandra Sender. Ayushi Suraj. Tumelo Cheryl Shakung. Benjamin David Shaw. With distinction in corporate governance, Frances Ann Shaw. Michael Sherry. Sepang Shongwe. Pererai Edna Sibanda. Robert Kenneth Silver. Sean Michael Simpkins. Lara Christina Simpson. Leanne Elsa Slack. Stuart Smallwood. Jason Christopher Smith. Imran Solwa. Pratish Dulip Soni. Dineshwarnath Sukna. With distinction in economics and statistics, and the degree with distinction, Jessica Lee Standish White. Richard Carl Steinhaus. Andrew David Still. Matthew Robert Stretch. Shannon Ray Stronach. Katerina Sur. Michael Paul Summers. Kan Sun. Shrestha Anir Sundar. Justin Neil Swart. Bianca Swartz. Jamie Alexandra Simons. Lesejo Lucrecia Christine Taukobong. Timothy Michael Taylor. Daniel Rudy Tushert. Alexia Theocharis. Ashley Thompson. Viva Anja Titus. Melissa Jane Margaret Todd. Ross Treadwin Tonkin. Emma Miriam Trappler. Jake Somerset Trehaven. With distinction in financial reporting, Kate Louise Trollope. Indira Aliana Tsengiwe. Whitney Leah Tucker. Christina Tsirkal. With distinction in management accounting, Michael Urson. Abigail Elizabeth van der Merwe. Chad Richard van Koningsbruggen. Jonathan Daniel Van Rensburg. Jitin Vasant. Julia Veach. Constantino Vichos. Amy Elizabeth Wheeler. Derek James Walker. Marco Antonio Washington. Kirsten Rose Weir. Gary Joshua White. Stephen Robert Andrew White. Stephen John Winter. Tandeka Kaba. Becky Jung. Anna Irina Ziazka. Natalia Maria Zimmerman. Sepeshila Babalwa Zeku. Michael Wade Zornita.
Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, family, and members of staff, and especially our honorary doctoral graduate today, Alan Gray. It's been a wonderful ceremony and a special ceremony, not only because of the special link to Madiba, and it's a link which has many dimensions that are poignant for a graduation, because the graduation is usually overseen, it's usually convened by the Chancellor of the university, and the Chancellor of UCT is Mrs. Grasser-Machel, and obviously we understand why she's not able to be here to assist us with the graduations this week, but I'm sure you're joining me in sending our special condolences to her and her family from all the graduates and all the graduates' families today. So it's a special link through her, also through the many occasions on which Madiba has spoken on the campus. He received an honorary degree which was decided upon while he was still in prison, before he was released, before we knew he would be released, and finally conferred shortly after his release. And he has given important national lectures here as well. So the role model and the example he set is one that we all need to follow. But I especially appreciated the links with the lecture, the honorary graduates lecture, and the messages of that. As many of you know, in the field of commerce and banking and financial management and asset management, those leaders in the big companies have not covered themselves with glory in the last 5 years through the financial crisis. And many are critical of the lack of ethical practice. And in a way that Alan Gray captured it, they attempted to benefit at the expense of their clients rather than through supporting and benefiting their clients. When you leave the university and you go out into the world of work and you represent the university, our reputation will be shaped by your reputation, by what people think about you and your practice in the world. And it will be shaped partly by your expertise and your knowledge and how good a statistician you are, or how good an actuary you are, or how clever an asset manager you are. But much more so, it will be shaped by the values you espouse. And we hope that those will be values that we've attempted to inculcate in you as you've spent your degree years here. Values of a commitment to social justice, to a concern with those in society who are less privileged than ourselves, being able to benefit from a top education at a top university, and a commitment to justice, commitment to leadership and to ethical leadership in your businesses, in your work, in the public sector, in the political environment. Thank you, Alan, for those messages. Thank you, Madiba, for those messages. I'm sure, graduates, that you will want to thank also your families who have sacrificed so much for you, who have supported you financially, emotionally, psychologically through the years to get you to this point. I invite you to stand up and make eye contact with your family members in the audience. Hold your scrolls up above your head and shout your appreciation to them. And I'm sure you will also recognize that you would have not got to the position you are today without your teachers and lecturers and professors who are represented on the stage, and I invite you to show your appreciation to them too. And I want to add my appreciation on behalf of the leadership of the university to the faculty members. The university is only as good as its brain trust, but also to the many support staff and support divisions that work behind the scenes to make the university run smoothly, whether it's libraries or ICT department or registration of students and the organization of these graduations through the registrar's office. So please, one more time, join me in thanking all of them. So it's time to celebrate. Have a good day, and congratulations.
I have a few more announcements to make before the Vice-Chancellor dissolves the congregation. Firstly, you're all invited to join us for a function in the Leslie Building. The Leslie Building is in that direction. Secondly, I'd like to invite the graduates to join the procession when it leaves the hall. We will leave first, and you will follow us. But having followed us, please keep moving down the steps, because if you don't move down the steps, you create a bottleneck and other people can't get out of the hall. Finally, will the rest of you remain standing until we, together with the graduates, have left, after which please join us outside and keep moving down those steps. I'd like to invite you now to stand.
And now, by the authority conferred on me, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town.